Let's talk about the cornerback situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. You know, coming into the offseason, it was definitely a vocal point. It was definitely a concern amongst a lot of people because we had some notable names becoming free agents, becoming potential free agents. Guys like Joe Haden, Ahkello Witherspoon, Arthur Millette, and other guys. Now, we brought back Witherspoon. We brought back Millette. We still had Cam Sutton. We still had Trey Norwood. We still have James Pierre. We brought in Levi Wallace from the Buffalo Bills. The only guy we did not re-sign, and understandably so, was Joe Haden, who is obviously a fan favorite. He's beloved amongst all of us. But the reason they didn't bring him back was not only due to his age, part of it might have been his asking price, but also there's no need for him at the moment.
No, there's not. And how he was last year, statistically, it was probably his worst season as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Right.
And it was only going to get worse for Joe Haden. So we had to go someone different, somewhere different, and we had to get younger here, to which that's what we did. We got younger, we got experienced guys, and we got dependability to some aspect.
I would agree. Now, when you look at the list, let's look down the list. Let's go from starters all the way down to the depth. You got Levi Wallace, Ahkello Witherspoon as your outside guys. Cam Sutton as your slot guy, preferably. You have Trey Norwood, Arthur Millette. You have James Pierre. You have Justin Lane. You also have DeMonte Casey and Carl Joseph, who can also play as dime guys if need be. So when you look at the list, when you look at the field at cornerback on the roster right now, there's no question there is depth. There's no question the pool is full, which is a very good thing, especially when it comes to the cornerback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which has been a concern for many years before the Joe Haden days. And now we're back to the post.
The post, notable names at cornerback.
Right.
And there is some uncertainty there, which is why we bring up the question, is the cornerback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers an issue this upcoming season?
Right. And the reason why we ask that is there a true number one on this team? Is there a potential lockdown guy on the squad? We all have hopes about Ahkello Witherspoon. He showed up towards the end of the second part of last season and definitely stepped it up. Tied the team in interceptions. He was locked down the second half of the season after pretty much being inactive most of last season.
Yeah, he was a crucial part of that secondary last year for the Steelers.
Right.
He showed up big time. He was great last year.
And you have a very solid number 2 in Levi Wallace. So Witherspoon is going to have to be the number 1. Levi Wallace will be the number 2. And he showed some promise opposite of Tre'Davious White a couple years in Buffalo as a very, very solid number 2 for him.
Or heck, even last year when Tre'Davious White went down with injury for the rest of the season for Buffalo,
right,
Wallace took charge of the number 1 spot and was very reliable for Buffalo.
You're right. And Wallace is one of those up and down players, but one of the things that really makes me feel very confident about the cornerback position is, one, it's stacked. It's full of experience. It's full of starting experience. It's full of guys that are very, very reliable, very, very trustworthy. Guys like Wallace, guys like Witherspoon, who have stepped up to the plate, especially last year. Sutton in the slot in his most reliable spot. And the dime backer role, the dime spot is so wide open, and there's so many guys that can fill in that spot if need be. It's great. But I also think that our safety core, our safety duo, and Minka and Edmonds, I think that is definitely going to help out the corner position a lot.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. When you have a dependable and reliable safety, whether that's strong or free safety, that helps out the cornerback crew tremendously.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what Minka has done since he's put on the black and gold.
Right. And, of course, let's not forget our ferocious pass rush, which just takes relief off of the secondary in general. But the cornerback position itself, it's definitely stacked. It's full of names. It's full of guys that have starting experience. It's full of guys that are reliable. The question is there a true number 1 on this team? We have hopes and faith for Witherspoon. He showed promise late last year. Hopefully he can bring that back into his second year with the team. It was essentially a prove-it year for him after we traded for him as an initial depth trading from the Seahawks, and then he stepped up to the plate when we needed him to and now we're really asking for him to step up to the plate for a full 17 games.
And just hope that the few games that he showed up big time was great playing in were just, small glimpses of what he could really do as a full-time starter, as a true number one for an NFL team.
And here's the thing. He's coming into training camp in Latrobe. He's coming into the season under the system completely.
Yeah.
This will be his first year under training camp where he's, he'll be a little more familiar with the team, but, he's not just bouncing from team to team like last year where he was traded late into preseason and early into regular season with the Steelers and then had to change focus and change teams and change, the scenery. Now he's with a team where he'll be a starter, projectedly. And I think that goes very, very well for a player, especially a guy like Witherspoon knowing his journey.
Yes.
And that gives me good promise in Witherspoon. Hopefully he can step up to the plate as number one. And Wallace, as a fresh face, can continue to step up as a number two around the league. The cornerback position is stacked. There's no question. That's not the concern. The concern is the lack of a true number one. Until we see what these guys are truly capable of under a full year with the team, then the fact that we don't have a true number one is just going to be that. It's going to be, we don't actually have a number one corner on the team.
Yeah.
We have number two guys at best. But I also think due to our pass rush and due to our safety duo, the lack of a number one isn't really going to be felt at the cornerback position that much because of what is surrounded with the defense.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. And that's definitely going to help out the cornerback position a lot. So, anyway, guys, that's the video, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below. And what are your concerns for the cornerback position? And who do you think could step up to the plate? And it'll be interesting to hear you guys' thoughts. So let us know down below, man.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!